Here is the extracted text from the images you uploaded. The Shrimper. At beer time, the doggone served up better gossip than the diner. The sheriff and Joe stepped inside the elongated, jam-packed X-Hall and up to the bar, made from a single longleaf pine, which extended down the left side of the room, seemingly out of sight into the dim. Locals, all men, since women weren't allowed, bunched up to the bar or sat at scattered tables. The two barkeeps roasted hot dogs, fried shrimp, oysters, and hush puppies, stirred grits, poured beers and bourbon. The only light emitted from various flashing beer signs, giving off an amber glow, like campfires licking whiskered faces. The clanks and clinks of billiard balls sounded from the back quarter. Ed and Joe eased into a mid-bar cluster of fishermen, and as soon as they ordered Millers and fried oysters, the questions began. Anything new? How come there's no fingerprints? That part true? Yeah, guys thought of old man Hanson? He's crazy as a loon, be just like some PM he'd do, climb the tower, push off whoever comes along. This ungotcha bumfuzzled, ain't it? Joe facing one way, Ed the other. They rode the buzz. Where the crawdads sing, listening, nodding. Then through the hubbub, the sheriff's ear caught the corner of an even voice, a balanced tone, and turned to face Hal Miller, shrimper crew for Tim O'Neill. Can I talk with you a minute, Sheriff? Alone? Ed backed away from the bar. Sure can, Hal. Come with me. He led him to a small table next to the wall, and they sat. Need a refill on that beer? No, fine for now. Thank you, though. Something on your mind, Hal? Yeah, sure is. Gotta get her out, too. Been driving me a bit diddy. Let's have it. Oh, man. Hal shook his head. I don't know. Maybe nothing. Either that or I should have told you sooner. I've been haunted by what I seen. Just tell me, Hal. Together we'll sort out if it's important or not. Well, it's about the Chase Andrews thing. It was the very night he died. Well, I was crewing for Tim, and we were coming into the bay late, way past midnight, and me and Alan Hunt seen that woman, the one people call the Marsh Girl, motoring just out of the bay. Is that so? How long after midnight? Must have been about 1:45 in the morning. Where was she motoring? Well, that's the thing, Sheriff. She was headed right toward the fire tower. If she stayed her course, she would have landed at that little bay out from the tower. Ed breathed out. Yeah, Hal. That's important info. Very important. Can you be sure it was her? Well, Alan and I talked about it at the time and we're pretty sure it was her. I mean, we both thought the same thing. Wondered what the hell she was doing out that late, cruising along with no lights on. Lucky we seen her, might have run her over. Then we just forgot about it. EFR C1, C2 level words identified from the text on the provided pages, along with their Korean translations. 1. Elongated, one occurrence, 기기늘어진. 2. Seemingly, 겉보기엔. 3. Amber, one occurrence, 호박색. 4. Cluster, one occurrence, 무리 집단. 5. Motoring, 두 자동차로 여행하다. 6. Trace, one occurrence, 흔적. 7. Crew, two occurrences, 승무원, someone 8. Refill, 다시 채우다. 9. Witnessed, one occurrence, 목격하다. 10. Statement occurrence, 진술. 11. Fibers, 섬유, 실. 12. Warrant, 지영장. 탐구진술문 for class, English. The text examines a key witness event related to a mysterious death, raising questions of truth, memory, and the reliability of human perception. Korean. 이 텍스트는 미스터리한 죽음과 관련된 중요한 목격 사건을 다루며 진실, 기억, 인간의 인지의 신뢰성에 대한 의문을 제기한다. 사실적 질문. In English, what time did the witness see the Marsh girl near the bay? Korean. 목격자가 립소녀를 만에서 본 시간은 언제인가요? Expected answer. Around 1:45 in the morning. English. What kind of light was emitted from the beer signs in the bar? 바에서 맥주 간판에서 어떤 빛이 나왔나요? Amber-colored light like campfires. English. Who did Hal Miller and Alan Hunt see near the fire tower? Hal Miller와 Alan Hunt가 불탑 근처에서 본 사람은 누구인가요? The woman people call the Marsh Girl. 4. What was Hal Miller doing the night of Chase Andrews' death? Hal Miller는 Chase Andrews가 죽은 날 밤에 무엇을 하고 있었나요? He was crewing for Tim and coming back into the bay. 5. English. What does the sheriff suggest doing after hearing Hal's account? 보안관은 할의 진술을 들은 후 무엇을 제안하나요? To make a formal statement and possibly issue a warrant. Conceptual questions. 1. English. Why is it important for Hal to report what he saw, even if he isn't sure? Korean. 할이 본 것을 확신하지 않더라도 왜 중요할까요? Expected answer. Because it could provide crucial evidence related to Chase Andrews' death. English. How does the setting of the bar contribute to the atmosphere of the story? 바의 설정이 이야기의 분위기에 어떻게 기여하나요? The dim lighting and gossiping fishermen add a mysterious and tense atmosphere. English. What role does memory play in Hal's testimony? 할의 증언에서 기억은 어떤 역할을 하나요? Memory is crucial as Hal reflects on what he saw and how accurate it might be. Why does the sheriff consider issuing a warrant based on Hal's account? 보안관은 할의 진술에 근거하여 영장을 발부할 것을 왜 고려하나요? Expected answer. Because Hal's testimony connects the Marsh girl to the night of the murder. English. What does the conversation between Ed and Hal reveal about the investigation process? Ed와 할의 대화는 수사 과정에 대해 무엇을 보여주나요? It shows how small details from witnesses can significantly impact the direction of an investigation. Questions. 1. English. Should Hal have spoken up earlier about what he saw that night? Korean. 할은 그날 밤 본 것에 대해 더 일찍 이야기했어야 했을까요? Expected answer. Some might say yes, as it could have provided crucial evidence earlier, while others might argue he wasn't sure and didn't want to spread false information. 2. English. Is it fair to suspect the Marsh girl based solely on her presence near the tower? 단지 탑 근처에 있었다는 이유로 Marsh girl을 의심하는 것이 공정한가요? Expected answer. It might be seen as unfair without further evidence, but her proximity to the scene raises legitimate suspicion. English. Should the sheriff take action based on the limited evidence presented by Hal? 보안이 할이 제시한 제한된 증거에 근거해 조치를 취해야 할까요? Expectants may vary. Some may argue that any lead is worth pursuing, while others may feel more solid evidence is needed. For English, could Hal's memory of the event be influenced by others, like Alan Hunt? 할의 사건에 대한 기억이 Alan Hunt와 같은 다른 사람들에 의해 영향을 받았을까요? It's possible that discussing the event with Alan influenced Hal's recollection, which could lead to inaccuracies. 5. English. Is it ethical for the sheriff to pursue a warrant with circumstantial evidence? 보안관이 간접 증거로 영장을 발부하는 것이 윤리적인가요? Some may argue it is ethical if it helps the investigation, while others might say it risks violating the suspect's rights without concrete proof. 이 책 Where the Credits Sing에서 추출할 수 있는 주요 개념, 관련 개념 2개, 그리고 삶의 맥락 1개는 다음과 같습니다. 주요 개념 1. 아이솔레이션 고립. 주인공인 카야의 삶은 사회로부터의 고립 속에서 전개되며 이 고립이 그녀의 정체성과 행동에 큰 영향을 미친다. 관련 개념. 커뮤니티 공동체. 비록 카야가 고립되어 있지만 주변 공동체와의 연결이나 단절이 이야기에 중요한 역할을 한다. 정체성. 기아가 자신만의 삶을 살아가며 스스로의 정체성을 찾는 과정이 중심 주제 중 하나다. 삶의 맥락. Individual society. 개인의 삶이 공동체와의 관계 속에서 어떻게 영향을 받고 서로 어떻게 대립하거나 조화를 이루는지에 대한 탐구가 이야기의 중요한 맥락을 형성한다. 탐구진술문을 할 수 있다라는 표현을 피하고 더 강한 서술어로 다시 작성하겠습니다. 주요 개념 정체성, 관련 개념, 공동체, 글로벌 맥락, 개인과 정체성 with the community. An individual's identity is influenced by both personal isolation and their interactions with the community, revealing the complexities of societal expectations and personal development. Korean. 개인의 정체성은 고립과 공동체와의 상호작용에 의해 영향을 받으며 이는 사회적 기대와 개인적 성장의 복잡성을 드러낸다. 이 문장은 할 수 있다 대신 강한 주장을 통해 정체성과 그 형성 요인에 대한 탐구의 방향을 제시하며 구체적인 행동보다는 개념적 관계를 중심으로 설명하고 있습니다. 탐구 진술문을 바탕으로 사실 질문 5개, 개념 질문 3개, 논쟁적 및 영어로 작성하고 예상 답안도 함께 제시하겠습니다. 탐구 진술문. An individual's identity is influenced by both personal isolation and their interactions with the community, revealing the complexities of societal expectations and personal development. 사실 질문. On English, who are the main characters involved in the investigation of Chase Andrews' death? Korean, Chase Andrews의 죽음과 관련된 주요 인물들은 누구인가요? Expected if, Joe, Hal Miller, and the Marsh Girl. 예상 답변, 보안관, Joe, Hal Miller, 그리고 2. English. What did Hal Miller witness on the night of Chase Andrews' death? Hal Miller는 Chase Andrews가 죽은 날 밤에 무엇을 목격했나요? Expected answer. He saw the Marsh Girl motoring near the fire tower around 1:45 a.m. 예상 답변. 그는 밤 1시 45분경 Marsh Girl이 불탑 근처에서 배를 타고 이동하는 것을 보았습니다. Sime, what kind of evidence is the sheriff considering to use in the investigation? Korean, 보안관은 어떤 증거를 조사에 사용할 것을 고려하고 있나요? The sheriff is considering a warrant to search for red fibers found on Chase's clothes. 예상 답변. 보안관은 체이스의 옷에서 발견된 붉은 섬유를 조사하기 위해 영장을 발부할 것을 고려하고 있습니다. English. How does the community view the Marsh Girl? 공동체는 Marsh Girl을 어떻게 보고 있나요? The community views her as an outsider and is suspicious of her due to her isolation. 예상 답변. 공동체는 그녀를 외부인으로 보고 그녀의 고립 때문에 의심하고 있습니다. English. What was Hal Miller's reason for not speaking up sooner about what he saw? Hal Miller가 목격한 것을 더 일찍 말하지 않은 이유는 무엇인가요? He wasn't sure if it was important and didn't realize the significance until later. 그는 그것이 중요한지 확신하지 못했고 나중에서야 그 중요성을 깨달았기 때문입니다. In English. How does isolation affect the way individuals are perceived by the community in the text? 이 텍스트에서 고립이 공동체가 개인을 인식하는 방식에 어떤 영향을 미치나요? Isolation makes individuals like the Marsh Girl more suspicious and misunderstood by the community. 예상 답변, 공동체가 Marsh Girl과 같은 사람을 더 의심하고 오해하게 만듭니다. 2. English. In what ways does Kaya's identity develop as a result of her interactions with the community? Korean? 키아의 정체성은 공동체와의 상호작용을 통해 어떻게 발전하나요? Kia's identity strengthens as she learns to navigate both her isolation and the judgments of the community, eventually gaining independence. 예상 답변. 키아는 자신과 공동체의 판단을 극복하면서 자신의 정체성을 강화하고 독립성을 얻게 됩니다. English. How do societal expectations conflict with personal identity in the story? 이야기에서 사회적 기대와 개인적 정체성은 어떻게 충돌하나요? Society expects conformity, but Kaya's personal identity, shaped by her isolation, defies these norms, leading to conflict and misunderstanding. 예상 답변. 사회는 수능을 기대하지만 키아의 고립에 의해 형성된 개인적 정체성은 이러한 규범을 거스르며 갈등과 오해를 초래합니다. 논쟁적 질문. Is it fair for the community to view Kia as suspicious solely because of her isolation? 단지 고립되었다는 이유로 공동체가 키아를 의심하는 것이 공정한가요? Some might argue it's unfair to judge someone based on isolation alone, while others could say that her detachment from society raises legitimate concerns. 예상 답변. 어떤 사람들은 단지 고립된 것만으로 사람을 판단하는 것이 불공정하다고 생각할 수 있지만 다른 사람들은 그녀의 사회적 멸이 정당한 의심을 불러일으킬 수 있다고 말할 수 있습니다. 2. Should Hal have come forward with his testimony earlier, even if he wasn't sure of its importance? Corinne, Hal이 그 목격이 중요한지 확신하지 못했더라도 더 일찍 증언했어야 했을까요? Some might say yes, as it could have sped up the investigation, while others might argue that speaking up without certainty could have led to false conclusions. 예상 답변. 일부는 조사를 더 빨리 진행시킬 수 있었기 때문에 그렇다고 말할 수 있고, 다른 사람들은 확신 없이 증언하는 것이 잘못된 결론을 초래할 수 있다고 주장할 수 있습니다.